Hello, and welcome back to my Dofus Let's Play, Quest to 200, and boy do I have a lot I want to cover in this episode. I'm going to go over several things here that are vital to starting out, whether you went through the Incarnum quest line or you just skipped it and came straight down here to Astrub. I'm going to go over a lot of stuff that's important for getting you off on the right foot, helping you to level quickly, how to make some commas, how to use your commas. I'm going to go over the Almanax Quest, which is a great way to make some money and get some amazing XP. I'm going to go over those two NPC dungeon quest locations. I'm going to go over the bank, how to use it. I'm going to go over the market, which actually just got a finalized rendition. I think I mentioned in one of the Incarnum videos that they had two different versions of the market you could look at. There used to be a classic and an advanced. Now it's just the advanced mode. So I want to go over that, and I want to show you how to use it. I might have been reluctant to use it before, but wow, it's so much better now that I'm being forced to. I'll show you what I've learned on that. Also, as we mentioned in the last episode, we had a couple people hit level 50, and I said there were some exciting things to show you. We're going to go over something called trophies, and that kicks in at level 50. Also, as we discussed in the last video, I want to do the Royal Gobble Dungeon next, as that's part of the dungeon quest line that we got from the Munchkin guy. The sponge one is from the Belina lady. So we did that in the last episode. We need to do this one, and then we're going to turn both those in. So there is a very long quest line that's called the Almanax. I think it's one of the fake Dofus. I don't think it's one of the primordial. I'm going to bring up the map. Here's Astrub. Now, you can only get to this if you are subscribed, because this is going to lead outside of the free-to-play area. So I'll try to put a link to where to jump to get past this part of the video if you don't want to watch this. But if you're thinking about subscribing, you might still want to watch this, just so you know how to go pick it up as soon as you are subscribed. So here's where we are, inside of Astrub. You'll notice right up here to the left this little calendar looking like thing. Called the Almanax Sanctuary, and that's where we're going to go pick up a quest where it takes 365 days to get that Dofus. Once a day you can go turn in a specific resource. You will get a pretty big jump in XP. The commas will vary depending upon what the resource was that was required. So some days you might only get 200 commas, but then other days you'll get literally 45,000 commas because the resource is just that valuable. And don't worry, I'll show you how to get the resource if you're worried that the resource is going to be from an area you can't get to. It's extremely easy to get the resource that you need, and I'll show you how to do that. But you turn that in, and you can only do it once a day, and then after 365 days, that's when you get the Dofus. So we're going to go there first. If you ever need to check to see what resource is needed before you run over here, you can go to the Dofus website, and underneath Encyclopedia, you'll see right here where it says Almanax. And then they have an almanax for Dofus, Wakfu, and Dofus Touch. These are other games that Ankama has. Dofus you want to make sure is the one you got selected. And it's going to show you right here that you have to have 3 bambuto wood. But if you turn this in, not only will you get XP and you will get the commas, but you will also get a bonus for the day. So the bonus for this day is quest experience. All experience given as a reward for quest is increased by 100% for this one day. I don't want to say 24 hours like the day or when you turn it in you get 24 hours. It doesn't work like that. Up here's the calendar. It shows you once this moves to the next day, this is gone. Now I don't know what time it changes in your area, but for me 6 o'clock p.m. is when the changeover occurs. So if I turn in the quest at 5:55, 5 minutes later, it will ring up as the next day and I can do the next quest. So even if it's cutting close, you still got time to zip over there and turn in the daily quest if you want to. But this is why I want to go do this one first, because I've got a quest that I want to turn in and we might as well get that 100% increase. So we're going to head over here. Alright, we have arrived at the Almanax Sanctuary. If you'll notice on my little mini map over here, if you go down one and left one, there's a zap. Make sure you get that if you make the run over here. Then, for any of your future cantrips over here, you can zap right here next to it. So definitely pick that up so you don't have to run that distance each time. I also told you that getting the resources is pretty easy because you see all these merchants here. These are actual players who are switched over into merchant mode. If you click on yourself, organize shop, and here's where you can pick items to sell and you get to pick your price. And then when you log off, instead of just logging out by clicking the X, do this switch to merchant mode, and your character will switch into a mode like this where someone can click on you and they can purchase things from you. The most people you can have on any random map is 6 people, except for the marketplaces. Marketplaces, I don't know what the limit is, but I've seen as many as 30 or 40 people, I think, on a single map right there. So these people that are on this map are very diligent about making sure they keep their spot on this map because this is where they make money. So if you click on these, you'll almost always find whatever resource is available for that day. You'll find it being sold by one of these guys, usually all of them. In fact, this is the one that was from yesterday, the bamboo. Okay, so this one's got a whole bunch of them, 539 of them for $6.99. But I advise you to check them all because see, here's 300 and some at 500. So you could save a few hundred commas by buying them from this person instead of this person. Usually one to the left and one down, there'll also be people selling stuff, but these are the ones that usually you'll want to check. Now, they do typically mark their prices higher than what you would get if you went to the actual marketplace and just bought them. If you ever come out here, check these guys. You can just buy whatever you need from here. Now, I've already got them right here, 3 bamboots on each of my characters. So here's what we're going to do. You go in here, and we're going to talk to this guy right here. Welcome to the Almanax Sanctuary. Judging by how gray your clothes are, I'd say you've traveled a long ways to get here. Unless, of course, you are a follower of Redfist, the god of dust. Either way, welcome to our Temple of Scriptures. If you've come to pray to the Meridia and earn yourself some almokins, you're in the right place. Declare we are ready. I'm guessing you already know which deity we're worshiping today. It's been the talk of the town, and I'm sure you've heard the whispers. My name is Antyklime Ax. My name is Antyklime Ax. Oh, that's hilarious. I'm a retired adventurer, a fervent disciple of the Meridia, and Magus Ax's little brother. After exploring the world, I finally found what I was looking for, a Dofus. That's when I decided to retire and help my brother put together his book. Every day I wake up and thank the divinities for the chances they've granted me. Let's ask about that, Dofus. Like many heroes before me, I used to dream of the mythical dragon eggs. I prayed to all the gods and all the demigods, asking them for guidance. I begged the Meridia to help me, and finally my plea was heard. One night, I found my way into a cavern that nobody else knew about, and inside it, I found a multitude of Dofus eggs, all the same. My life's mission is complete. What about yours? You are looking for the Dofus too, aren't you? If you like, I could give you one of the ones I have. To deserve it, though, you'll have to show selflessness and patience by praying to the Meridia every day for a whole year. I'll give you pages from my calendar so that you can keep track of your progress. Are you ready to give in to the rhythm of the seasons? To invest your time and energy into the spiritual path that leads to the Dolmanax? Accept this lengthy quest. That's her. Dialac is the Meridia of travel. You can't go anywhere without her. Whether you're sailing, zapping, or dragoturkeying, she'll be with you every step of the way. If you want to speak to the spirit Dialac, you'll have to take her an offering. Today is Bamboozle Day. Go to Pandala and track down some bambutos to get your hands on their wood. They're not quite normal trees, so you're going to need more than a few blows with your axe to knock them down. If you've sworn to never hurt a plant, you're going to need to find another way of taking Dialac what she wants. Go and search. Now, since I already have the 3 on there, see how it just switched straight to a question mark? So just click on them again. So we're going to hand over the resource. He's going to say go and pray. What we'll do is we'll then head up here, these steps right here. and it's divided into the 4 seasons. Right now, in real life, it's the season of fall. Well, the season of fall door is open. This is where you will go to turn in your almanacs. And then when winter gets here, it'll be here. We'll go here. And what you do is you go up and you click on this. This is the altar. And then somewhere along this whole square you got going on here, one of these little guys will pop up. Every one of these has an entire, not necessarily quest, but they have a whole story. So sometimes they're real short. Other times they'll be very lengthy. Sometimes they throw you curveballs by making you answer the proper question from a list. And if you get it wrong, you get a curse put on you, you get changed into a creature. I did one the other day where it booted me all the way back to Astrib, and I had to run all the way back here. That caught me off guard. I hadn't had that happen before. So we'll just click this. Once you get to this bow respectfully before leaving, that's pretty much always the last line that you'll click. You'll see in the bottom left corner, it just updated again. So we've talked to them. You go back out, and you're going to talk to the old guy again. Antyklime Ax. I still think that's awesome. When you get here, just reply that you've spoken to the spirit of the day. And boom, there we go. Now if you look down here, this one gave us 2,500 commas and 461,999 XP. There are days when I don't even get to play, but I will log on just to do this because the XP you get from it is incredible. It scales with you, so as you go up in levels, the XP bonus that you get also goes up. Now, these little tokens that you got, you go over here underneath your quest items. We just got 3 of them, all tokens. These are tokens that you can turn in for items from here. So if you go back up these steps, I believe it's this lady right here. You can go to buy, and there's a whole slew of things that you can get from her, all the way down to 500 tokens. And if you only get 3 in a day, you can see that it takes a while to do this. Now my IOP, who's level 200, he gets 17 a day for turning it in. So the number of tokens you get also scales with your level, which is really awesome. But there are spells in here, there's emotes that you can get in here, there's pets that you can get in here. These pebbles, you right click on this and click recipes. These pebbles are very valuable in the market because people need those to make crafts. So if you're looking to make some money, you can take these free tokens that you get here from the Almanacs, purchase some pebbles, and then throw them in the market and make some money. Some potions, these things will actually transform your look. So yeah, that's what you can do with these tokens. So this is a really neat place to come to each day if possible, just for the XP and the commas. The one that they did yesterday was giving out 42,000 commas per person. So that's one of my tips that I will give you on how to make some money super easy. It takes a little bit of effort at first. I think your character has to be at least level 40. Maybe it's level 30. But you got to be 30 or 40 in order to pick up this quest. So what I recommend, if you've got a subscribed account, each person on your account can run over here and turn in this quest each day. So if I had 5 people on this account, all 5 of them can come turn this in. Well, like yesterday, 42,000 commas a person, 42 times 5, see, that's almost 200,000 commas, over 200,000 commas, that I could get just by doing this quest, which I can purchase the resources right outside the door. I didn't have to do hardly a thing. Plus I got a ton of XP, got tokens that I can get pebbles with. What I would recommend is if you got at least one character that's high enough to get this, create a 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th character to get them to level 40. You don't have to get them any higher. And then just keep them right here. Have your main character that you go do all your quests, do your run around and stuff, and then anytime you come here at the beginning of the day with your main character and you do this Almanax Quest, and if you see that it's like 30,000 commas, 40,000 commas, that's when you're like, okay, this is a day I want to use my other characters as well to get that extra money. The nice thing about that is if you go up here, change character, and you select another person on the list, the reason I say log them off on this map is because when you log back in, boom, you're already on this map. Then you just purchase whatever resources you need, go inside, get your money, come back out, switch to another character, purchase your resources, go in there. It's a fantastic way to make incredible money. I have 4 accounts. Up until I started this series, I had 5 people on all 4 accounts. So it took a bit of time, but I could make several 100,000 commas fairly quickly just by logging all these low-level characters and running in there and grabbing that quest. So now if you click on this little counter thing down here, it says Almanax, you'll see that bonus of the day, all experience given per quest is increased by 100%. And each day it'll be a different bonus. Sometimes it's a crafting bonus, sometimes it's a mount breeding bonus, sometimes it's an experience bonus for specific types of monsters, sometimes for specific places. It's incredible, all the variety. Well, they came up with 365 different ways to make this exciting. This is the Dolmanax down here. That's what the Dofus is. I think that pretty much covers everything here with the Almanax. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. I will try to get back with you on that as quickly as I can. This is a fantastic way to make some money, make some XP, and it's really easy. Okay, so now I'm going to run back. We did the sand dungeon. We need to go back and talk to the Belina Thumb Lady so that we can turn this in. And I want to turn it in today because today we get 100% increase on the XP. Alright, we are back in Astrub. I'm going to show you here real quick with Explosia where you can find the Monkskin NPC. Did a screenshot. This is him right here. I did a screenshot in the previous episode, but I figured I would show you a little more reference of where he's at. This is him right here. Now remember, he doesn't start here. He starts in the field dungeon. Here we are in Astrub. The field dungeon is right up here. Just right outside the city and to the right, inside the barn. So that's where you talk to him and you pick up the mission, and then this is where he comes back to. Here's the bank, which we'll be coming back to here in a minute. Keep going left. The marketplace is just one space south of there, which we'll be going to after the bank. Okay, and we need to go, I think, over one more. And then we're going to go down 3 spaces, I believe it is. Here is Belina Thumb. She's the one that had sent us to go do the sand dungeon. So we're going to talk to her. Demons are the scum of the world of 12, and history has proved that the peace pact that forbids them from causing trouble here just isn't enough. The gods help us, and the power of the Dofus are the only things that can really guarantee our safety. Report on the Sandy Castle. Oh yeah. Nice work. Don't suppose you found anything remotely resembling a Dofus, did ya? Or any clues? Oh, that's okay. Ross Stritch is always sending me new recruits. So now that SpongeMob is out of the way, I'll send them to sift through the sandcastle from top to bottom. As you probably know, Carib Crepin tells a lot of tales, each one more improbable than the last. We suspect he gilds the truth and hides what really happened. He's telling anyone who will listen that he's had primordial Dofus in his possession, no less. We haven't found anything in his store, and I'm thoroughly convinced that the Violin sect are on his payroll. Here's what I think. Those thieves rob houses for that no-good piece of work and hide their loot in their hideaway until things calm down. Then, when enough time has passed, Carib sells items likely to find buyers rapidly in his shop. Therefore, I assume that if he had a Dofus like he claims, he wouldn't display it where anyone can see it. You have to visit the Violin sect hideout in Carib's Crepin's house and search it from top to bottom. To do so, you'll need to use the power of the Rikiki wand to shrink yourself down enough to fit through Mau Meow's hole. Try not to get caught and watch out for Mau Meow's traps. Alright. Yeah, the dungeon she's referring to is right here, and it's the Kickroach lair. And you have to have a wand. It's a weapon you have to equip, and it miniaturizes you so that you can fit through a hole in the floor. So we'll go do that at some point. All right, now we're going to go up, and I'm going to show you how to use the bank, and we're going to go over the market. Here is the bank. So here's who you need to talk to, right here. Got Effie Hope. Consult your personal safe. Now you'll see a cost right here. It says 10 commas. In fact, let's switch over to. All right, here's my Zeller real quick. If I do that same thing right here, you'll see it's 535 commas. Now I'm going to go back to Explosia so that I don't use too many commas. But basically what it's going to cost you is 1 comma per item you have in your bank. Now your items stack. None of these do. For example, if I put these slimy scales in here, all 8 of them only take 1 space. Okay, they stack on 1 spot. So now instead of costing 10 to get in here, it would cost me 11 because I'm using 11 spaces. Just like over here, you can click on equipment and weapons. That'll show up. Usable items, consumable items, and then resources. Makes it real handy when this thing starts getting really full. But this is your bank. This is how you access it. Down here are the commas that's in your bank. So if you sell an item, it gets deposited right here. So you just click on that, pick however many commas you want, click OK, and boom, it's moved over here. Same goes the other way. You can click on this, and you could deposit however many commas that you want to. If you played on one of the Epic servers, the Shadow server, or whatever that is, where when your character dies, you lose anything that's on them, well, you don't want to be running around with all your money on you. So you only keep what you need here, keep the rest of it in your bank, so if your character gets killed, at least you know you've got stuff in your bank still. We are not on one of those servers, so luckily we don't have to worry about that. I was going to open that with my Zeller here real quick. So 535, this is what it'll look like after you've been playing for a little while. So you get all kinds of stuff in here. Now, you don't have to let it get like this. You could just sell all this stuff. But since I do professions and I'm leveling professions, having these resources are a big help to me. My IOP, like I said, he can carry over, he's close to 25,000 pods he can carry. So what I do to help keep my bank account costing less to get into is I don't put anything in here unless it's over 50 pods. Well, I guess that got put in here, and it's not. These probably, if you put something in the market to sell, it's only in the market for so many days. What happens is once those days run out, if it doesn't sell, it gets automatically put back into your bank. So these fish were probably listed to sell. They didn't sell, and now they're popping back in here. But what I do is anything that I've only got, like, say this is six pods. There's 3 of them, 2 pods apiece. That's 6 pods. I would rather keep that on my character and not pay an extra comma just to access my bank for that. So everything in here is probably 50 pods or higher. So like this, 1,200 corn at 2 pods apiece. That's 2,400 pods. Yeah, I don't want to be running around with 2,400 pods on me. Now, this bank account has been open for years and years and years, so there's tons of stuff in here. But now when I click on this, see all the things that I can create because of the resources that are in here? My character can't create these because she's not a high enough level character to make these. So you gotta be a level 90 handyman here. So if I only display what I can craft, the 325 recipes, okay, it drops down to 23. These are things that are in here that I have a profession high enough to create. Yeah, I could create 158 of these axes and go up a whole lot of experience. See, I get 18 experience for each one of those. 14 experience towards my farmer for each one of these. 27 for my handyman for each key I make. So those are just a quick rundown on how that works. I'll do a much more in-depth, detailed run on this on another video. But if you have any questions in regards to the bank, the recipe button down here, tabs, anything like that, feel free to put a comment down below. Do know that you can't put quest items in here. So if you have anything over here, if you'll notice that tab was gone when we were logged into our bank. This stuff stays on your character. There's nothing you can do about that. Oh, the calendar pages right here. If you are going to try to do 365 days and get that Almanax, what I recommend is grab this, put it down here, and then this will tally up. Each time you get another page, it'll put it right here. So you can kind of see how close you're getting to finishing that quest without having to open your inventory, go over to quest items, and find it in the list. Okay, so that's the bank. Now let's go down to the market. Okay, so this is the market. This is the resource market. If we look on the map real quick, We're at the resource market. Here is the equipment market. And then this is the consumable market. Those are kind of the three main ones. Like I said, there's a few odds and end ones, which we'll go over once we get up into the bigger cities. Up here is Bonta, which is a big city for light, you could say. And then down here is Brockmar, big city for dark. There's a whole storyline that involves Brockmar versus Bonta. And I have no clue really how that pertains. All I do know is that it revolves more around PvP, one city versus the other, which is probably why I haven't gotten too hooked on it. Done very little looking into it, but they have some markets that none of these other, or that Astrub doesn't. So when we get up into these, eventually, I'll kind of walk through the other ones that are up there. So when you click on your resource market, this is now the standard. There's no classic mode. There used to be a classic mode button you could click, and it would switch over to that old version that you probably saw in my Incarnate videos. Now it's just this. This is the advanced mode. This is the standard, which I wasn't too happy about at first, but I've very quickly grown to love it because there are some huge advantages here. You got purchase and sale. Click on this. I have nothing in here for sale at the moment. Purchase. Over here you can narrow it down. Say I'm looking for something in the bone category. I'm looking for an ear. I'm looking for a particular level of an item. But the easiest way when it comes to resources is just to type up here what you need. Now for selling items, you just click on what it is you want to sell. Over here on the left, it'll show you in quantities of 1, 10, and 100 what this item is selling for. So if we were wanting to sell this one, we can see the cheapest one listed right now is $245. I could list mine at $244. I'm gonna lose 5 commas for the transaction, and then I click put to sale, and then mine would pop up. Remember, when it comes to resources, equipment's a different story, but when it comes to resources, you want to go ahead and put yours slightly lower than whoever's is showing up here. The resources are exactly the same, and it's only going to display the lowest price first. Now, if you feel bad about doing that, then you don't have to. But you'll very quickly realize that nobody else feels bad about undercutting you by a penny so that their item gets sold first. Unless you stand here and guard the market and watch your items and check them, check this and be like, oh man, I just got undercut. I need to relist, adjust what my price was. Unless you stand here all day and do that, someone's going to come by and undercut you at some point. But the nice thing is as items sell, you come back, your item will come back to be the lowest one on the list, and it'll get sold, and then it'll go on up to the next person. If at some point it doesn't sell, the item just gets deposited back into your bank at a later date. Now, here's an opportunity. This is where you can work the markets to try to make profit. This is my favorite way to make money, and what I used to do all the time. So this person is selling 10 keys for 5,000 commas. That means they're basically 500 commas a piece. Well, this person's selling individual keys for 770. That means I could buy this for 5,000 and then relist them for 650 a piece. That's 120 comma profit per key. That's just over 1,000 commas I made by taking his purchase or his selling item, buying it, and then distributing it up here at 1 key a piece. Now, obviously, somebody could come by and undercut you, and it might take a while for all your keys to sell, but you made a profit nonetheless. Now, this is a very small profit, but if you can find some items that have big differences, like if they're selling these for 2,000 commas, and you see someone selling 10 of them for 5,000 commas, well, buy this, sell them at half the price that they are, and even pocket the other 5 and go run the dungeon some if you want to. You'll still come out way ahead, and you got extra free keys out of the deal. So the market is really fun to play for making money. I had a buddy that played with me a long time ago, and this is what him and I used to always do. We would just fish the markets, looking for cheap things, looking for things to sell. We would find people in merch mode, and we would just check every single person. We found somebody that had listed something super cheap. We'd buy it off of them, zip up here, put it in the market, and sell it. That was our favorite way to make money, and it's still one of my favorites. So I want to go show you the equipment market, though, because it has a little bit of a different piece that you want to be aware of. The market looks the same, and it functions the same. I want to show you how this works. Okay, so I'm going to do the sale first because this is pretty cool. All right, you're kind of getting a sneak peek here at some of the equipment that I bought. But so this red scar cape, if I wanted to sell this item, I can click on it, and over here it's going to show me there's 3 of them listed in the market right now. 2 of them at 8,000, 1 at 12,000. You can hover over top of the cape and it'll show you the stats of that cape. That's fantastic. In the previous version, you would have to look at yours and you would have to go to the purchase mode where you could actually see all the capes that were listed, and then you would have to remember, okay, the one that I want to undercut is at 8,000, so I need to list mine at 7,000. Then you would go back to the sale, you would select your cape, and you would list it for 7,000, but you couldn't see all of this on one screen like you can now. This is just so great. I love this. The fact that you can even see the stats is what makes it even better. It's not just a list of prices. So you could hover over top of yours, compare your stats to the ones that are here, because if maybe somebody had really bad stats on these and this is the only really nice one. Well, if yours is really nice too, maybe you don't try to undercut these guys, but you just undercut him. So you would list yours at maybe 11,000 or 10,000 if you wanted to try to sell a little faster. Same with this hat. If you click on this, see there's tons of these. But see, there's some of these that are listed so high, and you can be like, well, why is that listed so high? Well, that one, there's no reason for it. This one, they've overmaged the vitality by almost double. See how the max is supposed to be 40, and it's at 82? That's why they've jacked their price way up. Same with this one here, and it's at 84 vitality. So that's why they put their prices really high. But this is where you can look at yours, and you can compare it to these ones down here, and you'd be like, wow, mine's about the same as this one, so I'm just going to put mine slightly less so that mine might sell a little faster. That's how the sale works. From the purchasing side, this is where you can almost build your set. In theory, what you could do is you could put your level. So let's say that you're level 50 and you want to look at level 50 to 52 gear. This is what you want. Then you can click on Amulet, and it's going to list everything that is listed from level 50 to 52. Now you could click ring and belt and boots, and it's going to do that with all these things. But as you can see, there's a ton of stuff. It can get really confusing. So I recommend you do one item at a time. That way the list isn't too hard to look through. Now what you can do also is you got primary characteristics, secondary characteristics, damage, and resistance. Well, if you're going to be let's say a strength-based character, you can open this tab, and you want to look at only the amulets within this range that have strength. You just narrowed it down to these right here. And you can say, okay, I want strength, and I want to make sure it has vitality. Oh, okay. Those are the only 2 that meet the requirements of both strength and vitality. And if you were like, okay, I also want to make sure it has an AP. Oh, it's got everything I'm looking for. It's got strength, vitality, and an AP. Right there. And then you can click on this item, and it's going to list all of them that's in the market. Prices are going to vary from piece to piece, and what you want to do is you want to look at the stats and see which one's going to be your best bang for your buck. I'm not going to go into detail of what's a really good deal there. That's just an example. Now, in the reason you could say, okay, I want vitality, I want strength. Now you can be like, okay, I want a ring, I want to look at belts, I want to look at boots. And if you'll notice, when I clicked ring, nothing came up. That means there's no ring between these two levels that have both vitality and strength. So maybe I take off vitality. Okay, now I had a ring pop up because it has strength, but it just doesn't have vitality. That's why it didn't have it show up. It didn't have both. That's where you don't want to select too many things unless there's just something specific you want. Now, if you were trying to go Omni, you wanted to have all 4 elements on your character, you could click all 4 of these, and then that way you know anything that shows up over here is going to have all 4 stats in it. Now, alright, so that takes care of the Almanax Quest, the Dungeon NPC Quest, the Bank, the Market, and the next thing I wanted to show you was some of the stuff for level 50. I told you that